This video is brought to you by none other than Hire Heroes, you guys. Hire Heroes is your one-stop shop when it comes to virtual staffing and making sure that you have qualified talent with your business. One thing that I love about Hire Heroes, you guys, is they've actually gone through the process already of vetting and making sure that your staff member is well trained to best fit your needs. Whether you need help with social media work, posting things on your accounts, responding to people that send messages to your social media accounts, whether you need help with data entry or a multitude of other things that they're qualified to do, Hire Heroes has got you covered. If you're having trouble finding quality talent and number two, affording to be able to run payroll for that talent, Hire Heroes has got you covered with an affordable alternative to have a virtual assistant working for your business. There's a link down in the description of this video to where you can learn more about getting your own VA through Hire Heroes. I certainly recommend it. They're what we use in our business for all of our virtual assistant needs, and you will want to make sure that you check them out today. What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Taco Tuesday. Let's talk about insurance. I'm joined with Glenn Shelton. I'm Christian Brindle.
I'm currently in a 1997 Taco Bell right now. So this is like it's like a time travel episode of Taco Tuesday. Look at these colors. They nailed it, guys. Did they not nail it?
I remember those colors very vividly, actually. I remember, it seems like I was sitting in that location that you're in right now. I was sitting at that back cushion.
This is everyone's childhood right here. Right here. Let's talk. We can't see the prices, but I bet the tacos are like 49 cents.
I kind of wish we could zoom in on them.
I know, I do too.
Oh my goodness.
Unwrapping a beauty today, you guys. Oh, we're getting back to the basics. Guys, if you're longtime listeners of the show or watchers, you know that this is how it started. It all started with our unofficial sponsor, Taco Bell. We didn't have a single episode for probably 40 or 50 episodes without having tacos present. We kind of got away from that. It's a hassle. Mm-hmm. Christian and I are trying to watch our waistlines. We can't just eat tacos all the time without exploding. Yep. So we're trying to get back to the basics today. By the way, here's another question I had for you, Christian. What is today's episode number? Do we know? What's our episode count?
Well, it's funny you bring that up because it just so happens to be, I'm pretending like I actually know, and I'm pulling it up as I go.
It actually is. Computer.
It actually is. This is episode 91.
91. Wow.
Closing in on triple digits, you guys.
Oof. The big triple. How many shows get to 100, guys? Come on.
Not many. The Diablo sauce. The Diablo sauce.
Okay. Hands down, the devil sauce is my favorite, guys. Without a doubt.
So, one question that I have for you on this random episode today.
Yes.
Is the following. What is the deal with... I don't even know if I should ask this question.
Well, you have to now, I think. Or maybe you have to rephrase it.
I have to rephrase it, yes. What is the deal to you with this? So for a while, the CMS compliance rules, right? They were being talked about nonstop on the forums. I have not seen a single conversation about it in probably a month. People just seem like it's over. What is your take, good sir?
That's a great question. Oh my gosh. I love the Doritos Locos Taco, you guys. Taco Bell, don't take this one away. It is. Don't take this one away, Taco Bell. You took away my double decker. You took away the Mexican pizza. If you take the Doritos Locos Taco away, God, there will be hell to pay. I also want to mention for our listeners, I hope you're listening and not watching. The beard is pretty long right now, guys. There'll probably be a lot of taco catchings today in the episode as I'm eating and you're listening to Christian's brilliant insurance advice, and I'm just making a fool of myself over here. But to get to Christian's question, because this is a great question. what happened?
Yeah.
There was a period of time, early Q1 2023, January, early February. It's all anybody wanted to talk about. CMS, the sky is falling. What happened? Where did it go? My theory, and I just said this to someone today, is I believe when we get towards the end of OEP, which we're about out of OEP as it is, I think everyone in the Medicare space is like foot off the gas, cars in park. They're getting out. I'm not looking at any apps for the next 3 months. Deuces, see ya. That's what I think is going on right now in the Medicare space. If I had to say what's going on, if you want me to put my finger on the pulse right now, everyone is not working. Everyone is like, I'm not writing. I literally have an email. I should read this email while I'm on the show today. It says something like, hey, Glenn, or hey, lead heroes. We don't need any more leads, right? I don't need it. It's a small agency. And we're talking to the owner. And she's like, I don't need any more leads right now. I'm not planning on being in the office much for the next few months. Verbatim. And if I'm hearing that from one person, I guarantee you
there's plenty more.
School's out for the summer, right? Is that not what's
Alice
going on
Cooper?
right now?
Alice Cooper. Bro, this is what I don't understand.
I don't get
about the Medicare agent community.
Yeah.
Right? There are a lot of agents that claim that they sell all year round. But when you really look at their activity, they're probably most of the time selling during AEP, and they're like seasonal agents. How many agents are there really that are year-round producers? Very small percentage. And by the way, those are the ones that are making all the money, you guys. They're making all the cheddar.
Everyone claims they're year-round too.
Everybody.
Every single agent. If you ask them, everyone's a year-round full-time producer. There are no part-time agents or AAP agents if you ask.
Yes.
This is delicious, by the way.
That looks delicious. If I wasn't in a snowstorm right now in spring, I would have tacos too. But I'm in a snowstorm in the middle of spring.
But the nostalgia of being in a 90s Taco Bell while eating this, it supersedes the flavor. I can't even describe it. Like, it's like I'm eating a taco back in time in my childhood right now, you guys. Oh.
It is interesting though, the agents that claim that they're year-round producers.
Let's get into that.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by that topic because from the outside looking in, as somebody that works with a lot of agents, that's a lot more of a common thing than I think people might understand. And maybe people are like, oh, well, I'll start next week. Maybe it's like a constant case of start next week-ism, if you will.
Could be.
And there's just not the same level of urgency. So they're like, well, I'll start next week, I'll go to the beach this week, or I'll go here this week, or I'll go there this week. I mean, my organization is rocking and rolling and pumping all year round. And I just have a hard time relating with people that don't.
Sure it is. Yeah. It's
wait.
Rocking and rolling.
Right.
No, I know I can validate what he's saying. He genuinely is selling insurance year round. The agency's rocking and rolling year round. Christian is in the minority for sure. It was just hilarious to hear you say that after we just called everybody.
So I was watching this video the other day, and I think, we talked about it off camera, but like, a certain presidential candidate that will call people names and be like, they called him this. I would never say that. That's terrible.
I would never say that. I would never say that.
You should never say that. That's terrible. Go ahead, shout it out.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's almost like what that's like. It's like some agencies don't sell all year round. We would never do that. We sell all year round internally.
But I think your point's valid. I think that's part of it. I do think there is a lot of genuine, there's no urgency.
No.
Right? What's the like, especially if you even have the smallest amount of renewals coming in. If you know you're going to make 20, 30 grand this year without doing anything, like that alone can be like such a demotivator for agents, right? Like,
yes,
I'm going to make $2,000 next month, even if I don't get out of bed, right? Which to me, I'm like $2,000. I'm like, holy cow, that's like the bottom of my piggy bank at $2,000, you know, like that's nothing, right? Like, what am I supposed to do with $2,000, you know?
This inspires a conversation, and I want to get your take on it. So I'm getting a decent amount of online hate right now for this Dave Ramsey video that I put out yesterday.
I saw that. I'm like, that was a good one.
I'm gonna read you some comments, okay?
I haven't,
from this Dave Ramsey video, because I could not believe some people out there that are living like in the Matrix. They took the wrong pill. I don't even remember if it's the red or the blue pill they were supposed to take, but whichever one was the right one, they took the other one, took the purple one. I don't know.
Purple. Or maybe they didn't take either. They chose not to take a pill, and that's what we're dealing with.
I mean, so for anybody that didn't see that video, and it might help to go watch that video before you listen to this part of the podcast, but I will summarize.
Please do.
What I said in the video. And anytime you make a video criticizing a very popular person in our culture today, like Dave Ramsey, oh, you can't say anything bad about Dave. You get people, his blind followers, out of the woodworks that come to kind of defend him and stick up for him. And they're people with 3 subscribers on their accounts. They're eggs on Twitter. They're people that probably are following the baby steps. And they probably, I mean, the comments themselves tell me where they're at financially. I can tell by the comments themselves. So the advice isn't getting you very far, honey. But anyway, what I said in the video was, if you follow Dave Ramsey's advice, it's good for getting you out of debt, but the ceiling is upper middle class. You cannot be massively successful, or dare I say wealthy, following his advice. Not in 2023. You can't save money in 2023. It's going to depreciate. Inflation's going to eat it alive. You can't keep money in the bank. You get a 0.000.1% interest rate. You can't.
Here's an interesting part about this conversation. I'm just having a feast over here right now.
Yes. Go on.
This is going to be my favorite episode we've ever filmed. I can already feel it. There's an agent. I want to name them, but I won't. Who got into like their insurance agent program. I don't know Dave Ramsey's whole insurance agent side of the business. He clearly got like invested in it not too long ago.
Yeah.
But this person already said I'm already saying the gender. You're
narrowing it down.
There's just gonna, dang, they're gonna find this person and dox them, and I'm gonna get in trouble. Gosh, this agent, there's a lot I could say about this agent too, because I was ready. I was just watching their post last night, and I'm like, this is insane. I'm like, what is this? But this agent actually took a picture with Dave Ramsey. This agent is like in like his inner circle, talks him up, talks about how amazing he is. I'm under the same impression that you are, that he is really, in most ways, kind of counterintuitive, or like the antithesis of what a lot of times is the right move. Now, a broken clock is also right twice a day.
Yes.
That's the other thing worth mentioning here. Listen, I can tell you it's 12 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock.
Eventually you'll be right.
Yeah, eventually I will be right. And so, like, he's doing that same thing, in my opinion, right? Like, you can sit back and be like, pay off all your debt
and spend
and
no
save
money.
all your money.
And in
buy
50
term
years,
life insurance.
In 50 years, you'll have $1 million.
Yeah. So, again, the clock, this is what the clock really does, though, right? Like, the environment financially is constantly changing. It's a huge variable. So that's my biggest hang up with Dave Ramsey. And also, shame on any insurance agents out there. If you're in Dave Ramsey's inner circle, what the hell? What is going on? How did that even come up? When did Dave Ramsey get an inner circle of insurance agent? That's crazy to me, dude.
So I'm going to read you some of these comments on this video.
Yeah, continue.
So first comment by a Jason. I won't even say the names, but I did for Jason. So sorry,
Hey,
Jason.
You got called out, Jason. All right.
So seriously, Dave Ramsey had proof of his advice working, ... And I mean for years, but who are you? Who am I? Who are you, Jason?
Jason?
If this advice has worked so well for you, why are you an egg on Twitter, bro? Like, why are you an egg on Twitter? Why am I me, multi-millionaire business owner?
Right.
And you're you. It's because Dave Ramsey's advice is feel good. It's pay off debt. Start.
Super safe.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Start with the lowest debt. It's going to make you feel better when you pay it off. And then work your way up. Go smallest to largest and live on beans and rice. Like, sounds good. It's like, I can live on beans and rice and spend nothing and ride my bike to work and it's snowing outside right now. And I get frostbite on the way here. Like that's the mentality. Anyway, next comment. I'm just going to read one more because I don't want to go too deep in the comments. But so most Americans don't have $1,000 in savings. So just getting to that first $1,000 is an extremely small hurdle. Get someone a win. The entire system is about small wins. It conditions the brain to chase these wins. So I think you just don't understand that simple construct. My response, I replied. I actually wasted my life and replied. I said, I understand it fine. I also understand that $1,000 means nothing and can buy nothing.
That's the most truth I've ever heard right there, guys. That should be the title of the episode is $1,000 is nothing and buys. I swear, I totally am in that same boat.
But if everything you're doing is baby steps, when do you ever get a big step completed? This is my biggest problem with the whole philosophy. It's all based off of baby steps. So these undisciplined people that got themselves into a wreck of a life by getting themselves in $100,000 in credit card debt or something, they take the baby steps because that's all they can handle because they're a wreck. Everybody knows don't rack up more debt than you can pay off. Everybody knows that. It's just common sense. But I have no problem with the concept of paying off the debt. That's not the problem that I have. But then the whole philosophy from there is save money, put money in the bank, invest conservatively. There's no interest in growing your revenue or being aggressive or playing offense. Right.
No, I'm totally in agreement with it. If I look at the people closest to me, if I look at let's say I take the 10 people closest to me who I believe are the wealthiest people that I know, hands down, they have the most debt as well. Right?
Yeah.
I'll give one example. I have a family member who's a dentist. Tons of debt. They have their education debt. They have business debt. But the flip side of it, the income's enormous. They're also making a ton of money. They also have a lot of assets that they own. And strategically, I've even gotten into the numbers with this person talking about, well, are you going to pay off all this debt? And they even said, they're like, you know what? My interest rate on some of these loans is so low that it would be counterproductive to pay this debt off. It's better to make minimum payments, ride this loan till I die, and take that money and do something else with it, invest it elsewhere.
And grow it. Like, okay, so I'm so glad you brought that up, because you're 100% right. I gave an example in the video. My house that I bought a year and a half ago now.
Yeah.
2 minutes from my office. It's worth $550 right now. And it's perfect for what we need. There's 3 people in our family. I don't need $800 million house. Not right now.
Not yet.
Not yet. But right now it's fine. We have a 3% interest rate.
Yeah.
I pay $2,500 a month for my payment, for my mortgage.
Beautiful.
If I spent the next 2 years paying off the entire thing, and I could if I wanted to, and I went beans and rice, if I took $500,000 and I invested into my business instead, $500,000, what's my return of investment versus my return of investment in paying off my mortgage of $550,000? The only reward I get is I save $2,500 a month paying off the mortgage. But guess what? If $2,500 a month is a problem for me, I have bigger problems.
Right.
And if I invest $500,000 into my business, that's going to probably be
okay.
$5 million in profit.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Okay.
Okay. Push back on me.
I'm soft in my breed on you. So some of these people, because like my parents, you know, I highly doubt they listen to this show, but if they do, hi mom and dad, they're Dave Ramsey fans. It's kind of a generational thing too. The older folks love Dave Ramsey,
as are my parents, by the way.
And I would also argue too, if we go back in time to like the 80s, which this Taco Bell photo behind me could very well be, the Dave Ramsey advice worked way better, most likely, because money was worth more, right? Like you just talked about, like. So that's the other thing, is like this advice, I think, worked a lot better back in the day than it does now. But these people on Dave Ramsey's show, okay, because he has like his show or whatever, when they're talking about how horrible they are with money, where they're like, I racked up $900,000 in debt and I only make $50,000 a year, and it's like, what the frick? Like, what?
Like, how did you do that?
No, like. They're like, well, I'm going out to eat 4 times a day and my mortgage is $10,000 and I have 3 cars and I only need 1. It's like, it's the craziest stories every time, right?
And it's like, always like obvious on what the problem is.
So the counter argument where Dave Ramsey's advice is correct, in my opinion, if you literally can't manage money at all, I'm talking like 3rd grade level financial management or worse, where you're just literally like, you buy everything you see, you're like, charge it, you're not increasing your income at all, then maybe paying off all your debts and saving all of your money and living on beans and rice, maybe that is the best move for you financially, right? Like if you literally can't manage your money at all, you can't grow it, you're irresponsible with spending it, then in that situation, like these people that he gets on his show, which I'm sure he takes like 10,000 applications, and then he looks for like the craziest people, and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, get them on, come on. Welcome to Dave Ramsey's show. You're $1 million in debt, making 10,000 a year. Is that right? Okay, yeah, need to go on beans and rice right now. Like, okay, Dave, you win. You're right. Okay, you're right. Yes. Beans and rice. You're not allowed to spend your money. Pay off all your debt. Okay, done.
Yes.
You know, but
then what?
Outside that, you're back. Yeah, then Dave Ramsey. I love it. I didn't think we were going there today.
I know. It just kind of happened. That's what happens on the random episodes, you guys. You never know what you're gonna get necessarily. One other thing to kind of piggyback on what you said, the advice he gives in the 70s and 80s would be golden. because in the 70s and 80s, you could put your money in the bank. You could earn 8 to 10% interest just in a regular bank account, right? Like, so that's actually a good investment, right? Like today, you invest in real estate, you invest in the stock market, you invest in the S&P 500. That's kind of what you're hoping to get, 8 to 10, maybe 12% interest rate if you're doing well, right? You could get that just by saving money. So that's where that concept of saving money comes from. It's because back then you could literally save money and make money and appreciate your money. That's not the deal today.
Mortgage
anymore.
rates were like 18%.
Yes.
Early 80s, right? So the interest rates were crazy high at the bank. Yeah, save your money. Also, buying a house was like $100K.
Yeah.
It was like the cost of like a nice expensive car today. You could buy a whole freaking house back then. So, like when you look at the numbers, completely different ball game. I think here's something I want to talk about. High yield savings accounts.
Yes.
HYSA. I am seeing a level of freak out about high yield savings accounts right now that I've never seen in my entire life. Seeing people writing books about it. I'm seeing people post about it. I'm seeing investor advisors saying, move it into a high yield savings account. It's the best thing you can do right now. You can make 4.5%. And like people are like, I don't know where these came. This is insane. Like, where did this come from? I'm like, guys, these didn't exist because the interest rates were so low for the past several years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and again, using our brains, if the bank is willing to guarantee you 4 to 5%, what's the bank making on that money, guys?
There it is.
What do you think the bank's going to make on your money?
There it
Probably
is.
10, 12, 15%. How are
Mhm.
they doing that? They're investing your money.
They're taking, wait for it, risk.
Wait for it.
It's wild, bro. Like I feel like everybody's wearing glasses with mud on them and they can't see clearly through the lenses. It's one of the craziest things that I've seen. And even like in the Facebook group, I share the video, there's pushback in the Facebook group from agents. And I'm like, oh, there's some business sense lacking here.
For
like
sure.
You don't like there's some, like, you read a book that was written before you were born and you think that's how money works. Like it's not the rules today. It's not how the game is played today.
Well, let's talk about risk. I think that's a good topic since that's all insurance is, right? Insurance is risk management. That's the name of the game. That's why insurance was created. It's a transfer of risk.
Yes.
So I think there are, and again, this goes back to Dave Ramsey being right twice a day. I think there are situations with certain individuals where it does make sense to put all of your money in a high yield savings account. It does make sense to take that 4 or 5 guaranteed. You can liquidate it at any time, no risk. But the flip side is what risk, what's an acceptable risk for you, Christian, and what's an acceptable risk for the average individual? And you could even say 30 to 40. Let's say the average young adult in America. What is an acceptable level of risk financially? I feel like Tracy should be on the show. Tracy's not going to watch this because he sucks. But if Tracy was watching this, he'd be dying. He'd be like, why am I not on this? Shout out to Tracy Lonesberry, Annuity Giants. But Christian, pretend you're Tracy. Take it away. Acceptable amount of risk. You're a young adult, just like me, 30 to 40. What does that look like?
So it's hard because I have to take myself out of the equation because I feel like what I would do and what a regular 30 to 40-year-old would do is totally two different things. And same goes for you, by the way.
Yeah.
You and I are business builders.
Right. We're outliers.
Right. So like the best investment I think anybody can make is in a business that they create, right? It's investing in them, things they can control. You look at the wealthiest people today, they're pretty much all business builders. People be like, well, what about Warren Buffett? Warren Buffett has a business that invests into businesses.
Right.
Right. Like I don't see anybody on the top of the Forbes list that got there from investing alone. Right. They got there primarily, like maybe like Jeff Bezos, he created a business. I'm sure he has other side investments, but he probably was worth 10 billion before he did it.
Right. His wealth came from his business for sure.
Yes, for sure. So like, to me, I think if somebody has any type of supreme work ethic, entrepreneurial spirit, the best investment is figure out something that you're good at, you're talented at, you're passionate about, and start a business and invest into that business, time, money, and now most businesses fail. It's because people start businesses because they're like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. I don't know anything about that. I don't really like that, but I'm going to do it. It's like, well, why did you do it in the first place? I opened a restaurant. Do you like food? Not really. But I heard restaurants do great.
Lots of money. Yeah.
And in our space too. I got my insurance license because I heard you can make a lot of money. It's like, well, do you like insurance? No, not really.
You like talking to people about risk management?
No. I hate talking to people. People suck.
Yeah, exactly.
like you can see it pretty clearly as to why someone maybe didn't make it in their business. So let's say that person is not that person. They're not entrepreneurial spirited. They don't create a business. If it was me, I would probably focus on not being in debt minus a mortgage. So if I have credit card debt, I have car loans, I probably want to get rid of that stuff, student loan debt, that kind of stuff. If I'm not running a business, I'm doing side hustles. I'm trying to get the highest paid job I can. I'm trying to be as valuable as I can to a company and make as good of a living as I can. And if I can't, I'm doing side hustles and things like that. I'm just working a lot, trying to get out of debt. And then from there, I'm trying to build passive income through investments, right? Maybe it's index funds. Maybe it's annuities. Maybe it's stocks. Maybe it's real estate, something like that. And because I feel like you need passive income to really
100%
grow wealth. And so I think for the average person, like I would always lean towards an entrepreneurial venture first. But if you're just not that person, and fair enough, some people just aren't made for that. Then probably the next best thing is to specialize in something, be valuable to a business, get the highest paid job you can. If I can find a job somewhere and I can make $1.25, then maybe I do that.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. Again, I think the tough part is to like remove my own mindset from the equation because and most people would never, and I'm at the point now where I have this self-awareness that I see what my risk management looks like against the average person. So like I am self-aware to the point now where if I were to talk to someone like a family member or a friend, I'd be like, hey, previously old Glenn would be like, you need to do this. This is what I'm doing. Like new Glenn is like, yeah, I'm doing all this. Like you probably wouldn't even want to do this stuff, like what I've gotten into and like what I do.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Like this probably isn't something that you would want to do or get into. And that's fine. Right. Because again, not everyone can do the same thing, but again, removing kind of my risk management perspective and looking at what the average person, and one thing that came to mind as you were talking, there was this like article I read about billionaires and they were talking about like where their wealth came from. Like you mentioned, Jeff Bezos, it was some huge percentage, like 60-70% of billionaires, their wealth came from creating a business, right? So you have the richest people in the world And well, where did their wealth come from? Was it handed to them from a previous generation, right? Was it generational wealth? Like, are they oligarchs? Do they have like ties back to a monarchy, right? Like, no, actually, majority of the richest people in the world today created a business and they grew that, and that's what made them so wealthy. So it doesn't have to be the next Facebook or the next Apple. It can be something smaller and more basic. But the idea is that when you look at it from an ROI perspective, your chances of netting a higher ROI compared to traditional investing or something like high yield savings accounts, like we mentioned, it's just a statistically much higher probability of a higher ROI. That's really what draws me into business.
Yes.
And that's why when I do have a surplus of income, if I have a windfall or if I have a really great quarter or great month, what am I looking at doing with that money? Putting it right back into the machine, because again, I'm looking at that probability factor. Could I take an extra 20K at the end of an extra profitable month and sink it into something really conservative, like a mutual fund, like a high yield save? Yeah, absolutely, I could. But if I know that through my business, I have the chance of getting a 4, 5, 10x ROI, it's hard not to do that because it's such a higher gain. I think I liked what you said about diversifying income. I think even if that's like a small side hustle, or maybe you're working 2 jobs, I think we're in a position now with today's economy that if you are a full-time employment, like if you are looking for an employer, I think shopping jobs consistently is super important. This isn't 1980 anymore, like we keep talking about, where you used to be able to stay at a company for 40, 50 years and they promised to take care of you and they fulfilled those promises and they gave you a great retirement and they gave you a pension. This whole era is dead and gone, guys. I wish I could get a 49-cent taco, but it's so far gone. It's not even funny. Like I could cry just thinking about it.
And it's never coming back.
It's never. And that's the other. Yeah, there are people out there that are like, oh, I'm just going to wait for my 49-cent tacos to come back. Like it's never coming back.
Wait for prices to drop. Good luck. Good luck.
These fat pensions that companies used to pay, they're never coming back. Like you're better off shopping around, trying to find the highest paying job based on your skill set. And if you have, a specific skill set, I'm a huge believer in trade schools. I used to be a big believer in college, not so much anymore, based on just, again, the whole ROI perspective. I think you're spending a lot to not get the sort of gain that you want. But I think a trade school is kind of the flip of that. I think you don't have to spend a lot and you can develop a trade and you could potentially earn a lot more money. I had a buddy from high school who got into a trade school, and I want to say it was something like, I think it was welding. I think he became like a certified welder. He started making an incredible amount of money, you guys, and it didn't take long to learn this trade. It was like a short amount of schooling, then like an apprenticeship, and then once they hit like a master in the program, like, they'd done it for so many hours, he was making, I want to say, close to like 150, 200K a year. Like it was wild. I'm like, man, you have people who go to school for 6 years, traditional education, they make 50K a year, 60K a year. Like it's nuts. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that'd be some advice I'd have for the average person on risk management and how to really gain financially.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. And I just think, people need to understand that if you're making 50K a year and you're making 50K a year 5-10 years ago, you got to make more money. Like right. you guys can't live like this anymore. Yep. Right? Like you can't, and it's going to get harder and harder and harder, and you're not getting no more stimulus checks. I'd be very surprised. So
give me that stimmy, baby.
And by the way, why do you want them? It's a part of a problem as to why your 50K a year don't work so well anymore.
Right. 100%.
And so to me, I just feel like the message that people should be hearing is not save, defense, defense, defense. I'm actually putting together a presentation for an event I'm going to be at in a few weeks. I was working on it last night, and a line I put into the PowerPoint was, defense wins championships in sports. Offense wins in business.
Oof.
And then
I need an infographic of that quote, dude. That is so true.
And then there's another quote from it that's like, the reason why the quarterback is paid more than the cornerback is because people like offense better than defense.
Yeah, I like that. That's good too.
And so like that's what you got. Like, so the whole back to the Dave Ramsey conversation, just briefly to summarize, the problem I have more than anything else is the emphasis on defense and not on any offense. I don't know how you can win. It's like, you're not Floyd Mayweather. You must play offense. You're not going to go 52-0 playing defense like Floyd Mayweather. It's just not the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, final thoughts. I think this is a good kind of wrapping up point of our quote unquote random show, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Christian and I spent a lot of time trying to figure out topics, and I thought sometimes it's great to just not have a topic, and we just kind of figure this out as we go. And I actually enjoyed this quite a bit. Christian, final thoughts on today's random episode. What do you think?
All right. So final thoughts, guys. If any of you ever analyze my bookshelf behind me, yes, I have a Dave book on it.
Oh,
okay.
The whole thing. Oh my gosh.
Where is it? It's back there somewhere. I'll another video, guys. It's
hypocrisy. The hypocrisy. We've got a closet Dave Ramsey fan.
Wow. Buy term, invest the rest. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Don't need a mob coming after me. No, but guys, I would say my final thoughts are when it comes to money management, you need a growth mentality. And I just feel like there's not enough people are out there today that get it and understand the world we're living in. Like to the person that made that comment to me, saving $1,000, that's a great step. That person's in denial.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this in a loving way. I'm not trying to be mean. Like I feel for that person because there's just absolutely no value in saving $1,000.
100%.
Like if I wanted to be a douche, I could come where you are, get a rental car and crash into you. And I don't have insurance or something. Like there goes your $1,000, and probably more than that. You probably have to take out a loan to cover it. And I mean, maybe you have car insurance, but you have a deductible on the car insurance. You guys get my point. Like it's just not modern advice.
Totally agree.
So yeah, that's my final thoughts.
Totally agree. Well, thoroughly enjoyed this. My final thoughts, you guys, and I think again, this nostalgic Taco Bell setting is so perfect for this conversation, and maybe it even fueled it. But my father was a manager at a shoe store in the 80s. Built a custom home, owned multiple vehicles, supported 4 children. The type of wealth equivalency to modern times today in 2023, it's so night and day. It's wild. And I think about it all the time. He had a great retirement set up, and today, in today's financial times, just like Christian's saying, you do have to play offense. You can't play it that safe. You can't be a manager at a mid-level company for the rest of your life and think that you're going to be set up. That doesn't work anymore. I think the name of the game is how quickly can you grow your income? I really think that's the name of the game today. And if that means taking on debt to do it, then you have to, right?
Yes.
And like I said, the wealthiest people that I know have a lot of debt, whether that's in the form of mortgages, personal loans, business loans, education loans. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, that's really my final thoughts, you guys. Grow the income as quickly as you can. Figure out the best way to do it, and say goodbye to these beautiful 49-cent tacos that we'll never get ever again. Bye, tacos.
Guys, thanks for tuning in this episode. We love doing these. If you guys like more random episodes, let us know, because if you guys like them random episodes, we'll probably do them a little bit more often.
Yes.
Of course, comment, like, subscribe, 5-star reviews on the proper platforms. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Eat lots of tacos and increase that damn income. Stop saving.
Increase it.